name is Ruud van Enschut. I'm principal consultant at cimt in the Netherlands, 40 years experience in IT, 25 years in data management, and DAMA certified and specialize in master data management and data quality. cimt is a leading IT service provider, specializing in SAP migrations and data and application integration, as well as data quality, with 300 consultants, I think, across Europe. We are an elite Click partner and a Gold SAP partner, and we are helping organizations maximize the value of their data and support digital transformation. So probably people noticed yesterday that we announced that we have an anniversary, a 25 years anniversary of cimt. So I think that is I think a really great achievement again, and we want to grow, of course, more and more, especially in the space of data quality and data management, because we think there's a lot of things to do over there.
Okay.
So for the people, I think it's most people are there. So we will record this session, and of course we will share the whole presentation with you afterwards. I think that if there are any questions, you can put them in the chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Today, of course, also join Thomas from BARC. He is the speaker for today. And Thomas, can I give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and to start the webinar?
Okay. Then I would say we start into the topic. You see my slides? You can hear me? Anything is fine?
Yes, we can.
So today we talk about the topic, and always the first phrase is a little bit catchy, so we need to talk about data quality. But honestly, all my lost hair, you see that? That's all by data quality issues. And yeah, let's talk about this. First, some words of me. I'm a senior analyst and fellow at BARC. I have a background in a lot of business positions at a large enterprise called Henkel. I've also quite good understanding of data and AI stuff. Was also for several years in the training of this as a university. And before that, I was also in the BI industry, so I know also the technical part of it. But in my heart, in my very heart, I'm a software developer, but that never worked out. So I have to speak in audiences like you, yeah, to go forward. First question might be, who is BARC? BARC is mainly active in the United States, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. We are located headquarters in Würzburg in Germany, and we are, I would say, the biggest European specialized analyst on data analytics, AI, BI, and all around data. Yeah, and we have three pillars. One is empirical search. We do a lot of research papers. You can download many of them directly from our homepage. Different things, mainly talking about data and increasingly also data quality. We do a certain consulting. We do this on one side for enterprises like you, but also for software vendors who ask themselves, hey, what are customers looking for? What are the upcoming trends where we need to go? Yeah? And beside this, we have a certain pillar that is events. This is larger fairs or dedicated things around data and analytics topics, or controlling ESG reporting, legal consolidation, a lot of things. Most important is we are totally neutral. So that means we are not tied with any vendor or whatever, but we judge on certain things. And that is the reason why we have a quite good footprint in the area of this data and analytics area. Now, jumping forward, data quality. This is a topic I would say a lot of people always talk about, complain about, and say, data quality, can I trust this data? And it's a topic that no one likes, to be honest. Yeah. So if you ask in a company, hey, who wants to be the head of data quality? Everyone will run away. Yeah, because it's a Sisyphus job. Yeah. So you have to be always on this topic, and it's very hard to move forward. Yeah. The challenge is here as time is changing and all this digitization of business processes is going on, this, or let's say data quality issues really become a burden. And this burden is accumulating over time. And my personal assumption is that if you do not focus on data quality, however you do that, yeah, you will run into problems. And let's talk about this. But first, talk about what is data quality at all. Yeah. So there are multiple dimensions where we could talk about data quality. One is for sure accuracy. Yeah, where you have the problem that the data does not reflect the real value of whatever that is. Yeah. The example here I show with the dollar, that's a very seldom one, but also this happens. So if people transfer data from A to B, they might mix up the numbers. But especially when you are in the physical world, so when you need to count something or when you need to measure something, yeah, it's very hard to say this is really trustful data. Yeah, yeah. And besides accuracy, there's another thing that is completeness. So is data at all complete? So are full records missing? Or do I have not tracked what I want to track? Yeah. And the most prominent thing is that fields are not filled, or fields are used for purposes they should not be used for. For instance, if you're in an international company, as I've been before, you have very dedicated fields in your CRM system, in your SAP system, wherever that is, and you say, hey, in this field, we want to write this, yeah, especially if it's the free text field, yeah. And when you look about how people use it, it's so different, yeah, and it's very hard to align on all these standards. So, but beside completeness, there's another aspect, and that is consistency. Yeah, although the problem I show up here is quite simple and can easily be fixed. Yeah, it's about speed. It is an issue. Yeah, and especially if people track things. Yeah, it's always that you have a certain bias within this. Yeah. And that the data is wrong and you have multiple instances of the same thing. And this is typically addresses, names, and all of these things. The challenge now is if you go further and look of all the artifacts that might impact your data quality, there's a lot more. Yeah, so timeliness of data. Yeah, so is the very often if you look into customer data, you will find so much outdated data. Yeah, and you still rely on this. Do your whatever processes let them rely on these things, and it's not what you needed. Yeah. Uniqueness of data, that's another aspect. So is my data duplicate in a certain way? Yeah, this can happen also through human errors, but also through technical errors. For instance, if you upload the data 2 times and have no mechanisms in place to really find these things. Yeah. Another thing is validity. So can you confirm that the data has the right formats, can be used in the right measure, interpreted, or is aligned with certain rules? Then the integrity of the data. And then it moves forward. For instance, is it relevant at all? Yeah? So a lot of data, let's not speak about SAP data or whatever, where you really have your postings, and all of this is relevant. Yeah, but sometimes it's very hard, especially when you move on from let's say operational data more into descriptive data made by humans. Yeah, it's very hard to think about what is really relevant. And if you have 100 documents in front of you, the big question is, okay, which one do I have to look at? Yeah. Traceability. So do we know where the data is coming from? Yeah, and do we know about also what steps has been processed? Has all required processing steps been done on the data? Another dimension is, although your data might be there, it might not be accessible as it used to be. Yeah, so people have either no rights or does not even know that the data exists, are not able to look where the data should be, so no chance to search for certain things as another thing. Granularity is another thing. For instance, when you look at SAP data and you want to do data warehousing, yeah, normally a figure like I have sales with my customer of 100. That's in SAP. It's not one record. It's normally 3 to 5 records, yeah, or even more. Yeah, are these individual records relevant, or is it just the sum of it relevant? And then you have for sure real bias, so certain errors or certain wrong informations in the data, and all this together is reality in, I would say, most organizations you look at. Enterprises know that. Enterprises have mechanisms in place to do this. At the very first step, it's important that when you gather data or enter data, that this is very much precise, yeah, and most of the quality control should happen there. But in practice, it's not that realistic. Yeah? For instance, in certain enterprises, there's a new customer or a new product line has introduced. We have to bring it live. The master data, oh, we will do it in the next week, or let me just enter these things. I think this is correct. Yeah, and by this you introduce a lot of data faults in the system. So, but why does all this matter? And that's an important question. Yeah. First of all, I think, and you experience, or we all experience this since, I would say, 10 years now, and it's going forward and accelerating, is that the business processes are more and more interconnected, and interconnected on a technical level. So they exchange data, they use data, they are driven by data. And the more and more this effect is defining the reality of business, the more and more data quality becomes a very important aspect of how efficient and how precise your business can be executed and steered. Yeah? And due to this very high automation of processes, yeah, it's more and more that a lot of decisions are not based on humans looking at things, but decisions are based just on data. And the more these real-time transactions, so that you have instance response, and the response has to be there 24/7 for every day of the year. There is no chance perspectively that human intervention in repetitive processes is an option anymore. And as you know, AI is moving on, yeah, and we see more and more, and we will see a lot of more and more process automation going on due to these new capabilities, and that drives again the need that data has to be really sound and reliable. Yeah, and the fourth aspect is also an important one, because the times are more or less gone where you can say, oh, look, that's Peter. Peter is since 20 years in the process. He knows any customer, any products, anything. You can just talk to him and he can give you an answer. That is no more a reality. And due to this lack of certain expertise, we have to put out a lot of relevant things to systems to try to keep things consistent, to have this knowledge that is available in your enterprise, to make this available in your business processes. And this is also where data becomes more and more important. Yeah. And we also have upcoming demographic issues, because as you all know, a big challenge is really that it's very hard to find certain talents and people at all, yeah, to look for certain processes. Yeah, and therefore also automation has to go on. Yeah, then we have more data. The data also gets more complex. We have more regulations. There are more requirements for transparency. Yeah, and the cool thing is, although you might think, that's not relevant to me, you can bet on that your competition in whatever business you are, they are going for this. And we see certain industries where this becomes really essential. In any direction where you have a deep relationship to your customer and where you have a recurring business, for instance, in banking, in telecom industry and stuff like that, yeah, these enterprises are fueled by data end to end. And the more this process is going on, yeah, the more you see banks that drop somehow off the markets and otherwise, and new banks and new ideas are coming up that are just able to treat their customer better. And if you look how they do it, it's not by talking to the people, it's by leveraging data. That's what it is. Okay, so modern business is data driven. So, but how can we overcome? And the big new thing is that we say, okay, AI, that's a thing that will solve anything. The answer is yes and no. For sure, there is a big impact, but it's, for my personal opinion and experience, it's a little bit overhyped today. And bottom line, it's a tool. And the most clever organizations and people are able just to use these tools to get the things done they want to get done. Yeah? And the idea is, whenever you have a problem, yeah, you might have certain help at your hand that helps you to tackle these data quality problems and also tackle the processes around this, yeah? Because it's not only that you have to look at data quality itself, but you have to have processes in place that help you to manage your entire organizational data pool. Very much from transactional data, very much to unstructured data, so writings, emails, and all these things. Yeah, and we, in 5 to 10 years from now, I would assume we will see that all information that is really going through an enterprise will be leveraged through certain mechanisms and systems, yeah, to make your processes efficient and automate your processes. So, but what's now going on if you have a data problem? Yeah, the first thing you know, or you need to know, is that you have a data problem. I give you an example. Annual reports. You might say, oh, annual report, that's the most precise thing on earth that you can ever look at. Yeah. Here's my take. All of them are wrong. Yeah. Why is this? Because this is an accumulation of a lot of postings. For instance, at my old company, we had 200 million just postings in our cost allocation. So that was invoices from people. So single lines, 200 million records per year. Are these all correctly assigned? Yeah. What errors could happen? For instance, it's the wrong amount. So that's an easy one, and hopefully it does not happen often. But is it the right cost type? So is the computer that I bought for some reason not posted to a totally different a totally different cost position, yeah, or to the wrong cost center, or whatever might be the error, yeah. And such errors accumulate, and you can bet on that you normally have an error between, I would say, 0.001. Yeah, maybe such organizations exist, but in the structure of the data, I would say it's more about 1 to 2%. That is really wrong because of wrong data, wrong postings, wrong processing of information. Yeah, but as we have auditors, they sign it, and therefore it's true. Yeah, so that's a trick we found to overcome this issue. Okay, another aspect. We always hear, and increasingly hear, that certain things are going wrong because of data is not correct. Yeah, so this is just one example. This person might have looked a little bit better, yeah, so in front of the street, and driving over a bridge and falling down. But there are other issues. For instance, you remember this very important aspect when a rocket started and it instantly explodes because there was a wrong measurement. So one team that developed a certain component of the rocket has a metric team, and the other one was in inches. Yeah, and for that reason, it does not fit together. And although this was a super experts and lots of money to do things right, it failed on these things. And that's also an aspect of data quality. Okay, going forward, and this is now one thing I would say that is very important, because we are increasingly sensing how things are looking, what sales we made, stock prices, amounts, how many people come in, how do customers react or whatever. So we are measuring all the time. And the challenge is, if this measurement is not correct, yeah, and the measurement is then used for decision making, yeah, for instance, here in this paper where you say, okay, that's a strong signal to sell or buy, yeah, then you might end up in a problem. Yeah, let's assume you are a big company, and let me just go back to this one, and you find out, oh, so today or in the last period, yeah, so we had a loss. No. Let's assume we had a win of 1 million euros, and it's 4%. Yeah, and in an alternative, maybe it's 3.9%. Yeah, and there are mechanisms in place where companies say, oh, any company below 4%, that's not good. That's just 3.9, and you will be moved into a different category, and that might end up to say, okay, your credit rating is not as good, yeah, because you do not have this 4% of income rate, yeah, and therefore you are rated down. And the other thing is also when you take decisions, automated decisions in your supply chain, saying, okay, we order a certain amount of products, yeah, at a certain point in time, based on certain thresholds. Yeah, that is done very, very often. Yeah, and if these numbers are wrong, you're doing the wrong things. Yeah, and I do not know if you know Loriot. It's a quite well-known German comedian, yeah, of older times, let's call it that way. And there was a film where he ordered paper, yeah, because he said, oh, paper is so cheap if I order the right amount of paper, yeah. And then in this scene of this movie, he was shown where this all this paper was delivered, yeah. And these things, might it be intentional, yeah, or might it be a fault, yeah, that can be dramatic, really dramatic. In my younger times, I was a consultant, yeah, in this BI industry, and we had a customer that was a large Japanese company, and this Japanese company was very focused on their business, and all people were Japanese people, and they had a chief of finance who was a German guy, and beside this guy, I would say there were not much people out there who were really educated on German finance, accounting, and all these things. Yeah, and I did a project there, and our task was to do an OLAP database on their sales and other processes related to finance, very much so. quite interesting project. Yeah. And they had at that point in time, they had a yearly revenue of 450 million. Yeah. This 415 million was a huge increase over the last year. Yeah, almost they doubled their sales. Yeah, and that's the reason why they were super successful, and that were their official reporting things and so on. So, and when I got access to the data, I get for sure access to the raw data, and for a certain reason, I imported all the data and looked about the data on a very granular level, what they really didn't did to that point in time. And I found out there was a single transaction that was so large, 120 million at that point euro, yeah, in sales with a very small customer, yeah, otherwise small customer. And I said, is this realistic? So, and then we found out, it's a real story, that this posting was really wrong. Yeah. So, and they found out it was a typo. There was an article number that was put in this, it was a JD Edwards system. Normally, I would assume that in an SAP system, these things do not happen. But they were really able to enter the wrong data in the, I think it was a quantity field. Yeah. So the price were given, but the quantity field was wrong. And that error was taken through their entire system. No one detected it. And it was a nightmare when this information come out. Yeah. I do not say that this will happen today anymore, but at a certain level, such errors are very hard to tackle. And another aspect is that when you look at data quality issues, can you really find them? Do you have the mechanisms in place? Do you have the rules in place to even detect this? And the answer is maybe, but not in all areas. And that's another important thing. Who's doing outlier detection, for instance, on their normal transactional data in SAP? Yeah, who's doing that? No one. Yeah, and for that reason, there is basically in all data sets that you have, a certain level of error, I would say, is in there. Yeah, and to detect this is a hard thing, and that leads us to a certain so-called the data paradox. It's a very interesting book. It's called from a very interesting book. It's called Mastering the Data Paradox. And the paradox is data is becoming more and more important. There's an exponential growth in all areas, especially in this social media and so on. But now also all devices are talking and are able to track certain data. Also in the enterprise, we sense a lot of more information on a more granular level so that we have better controls, and the data volumes are totally skyrocketing. Yeah? This, on the one side, and it's a paradox, opens up really endless opportunities what you can do with this data. The only thing you need to do these things is you have to have business questions. Yeah, that is what still is on us to define what do we want to know. But if you are able to define your questions and have all this data available, you can do really, really great things. Yeah. And especially in the direction of predicting, steering, automated decision-making, and so on and so forth. But on the other side, this data topic is prospectively going to be a mess because data chaos is really ahead. Yeah. I would say 15 years ago, there was an SAP system and there was an SAP system. And most of your things are somehow covered by this SAP system. And what was outside was not really connected, but it was just creating some kind of posting that was then taken into the SAP system. Today, we have tons of systems, yeah, and tons of external services providing information, doing a certain sub-processes. We have a much more let's say, divided setup. We have service providers for this and that, and this is given outside. Anything is going around the world, yeah. So there are a lot of hurdles in regards of language units, time zones, and whatever it is, and it gets more and more really, yeah, fragmented. And then another aspect is, as this is going on, we say, oh, the data thing, that's an important one. We have to have certain rules in place. We have to have compliance, yeah, and a lot of things. And you need to take care of this. Still, most of the things, especially those within your organization, are not that governed. Yeah, you also have double data from here, from there. So sales data and your CRM data that's maybe overlapping. And it also implies a lot of compliance risk. Yeah, GDPR is one topic, but also security is a topic. Yeah, so there are a lot of bad guys out there who really try to get into organizations and get data out, because the data is a nice unit of money that you can easily transfer and easily convert back to money. Yeah, and therefore that's a thing. Yeah. And then we have this rising importance of AI, which is a totally new thing. We now have these large language models, which are very much on the language side. So anything natural language, programming, SQL, these are all languages. But it does not yet has evolved to the point where it also can understands data. Yeah, that we will find in a certain time. But the challenge is that when you have garbage data and you feed it into these automated processes and into your AI, this data will resonate, yeah, and become your truth. Yeah, and that is an issue. And this automated decision making, what we are really all going through, is requiring the highest level of data quality that you can achieve. And if enterprises are not running for that, it will be hard to keep up and really come to the level of automation and processes that are running, mainly supported by automated processes, yeah, to the level that is needed to excel and win in competition. Yeah. But the question is now how to overcome this, yeah, how to overcome these issues. First of all, it's very easy, yeah, because the only thing you need to do, what is incorrect, you have to somehow correct. That sounds easy, but you know it's not. Yeah, there's one aspect that you can say, okay, what are the measures that can be done? One for sure is prevention. Yeah, that you say, okay, we have to really ensure that we have less faulty records, bad records in our systems. So that is at the very first start. So when data is gathered, yeah, so better calibration of sensors, better OCR of documents, more trained people on data, more regulations in your ERP system, and rules that help to automatically detect and fix problems. Yeah, that's important. But when the error is already there, yeah, and there are a lot of areas where this can still happen, although you have the best prevention in place. It's about detecting these things, yeah, and it's really about simple things like typos, but there are also anomalies, yeah, and also data aspects that you cannot discover if you really look at an individual record level. Yeah? And also these things need to be taken. For instance, that people are posting consistently on the wrong cost type or whatever. Yeah? These things. And then the next thing, once you detected it and know where the error is, or that this is an error, or has a certainty that is an error, you have to go for that correction part. Yeah, and this is normally a closed loop. Okay, so this upfront prevention of data quality issues, there are a lot of things you can do. You can have to have data entry standards. You can define contracts. You can also go with your external partners and give them certain quality levels and rules to do so. Then you have built-in rules in your source system. You can do, for instance, in SAP, you can already do a lot of things there, but it's just simple checks as of today. This will change over time, but as of today, it's really that you only can do a certain level of consistently checks. But you can link into certain APIs that do certain checks and validations. So, and then you also have certain developed frameworks for this, that really allow to also on a holistic level have an idea about how your data quality is in your system. Then automated metadata management. So that means the automatic creation and maintenance of metadata catalogs to ensure that this data is really cleaned, that all the attributes are defined, that is checked against lists or rules or whatever is in place. And then another one is self-service onboarding with governance. So that means that the teams should have all the information at their hand, to enforce a certain level of data quality. And that is an important thing. But on the other side, it's very hard to do by humans because there's not much time really when you do a posting and you have to have mass work to do to really try to do it on your own. So that means automation is also there. That's the future to go. I would assume manually posting an invoice into a system in 5 to 10 years, we will never see this again. This will totally fade away. There is no input of humans needed. And also certain organizations already went into that direction and found out that the error rate is also going down very much due to modern technology. But once this is all done, what you can do beforehand, still there's enough in the data that needs to be idly corrected. And data detecting is a very important thing. You can do it really manually, to go through certain data. You can have certain checks of data. There are algorithms. You can do machine learning stuff. You can do automated data profiling. So that is always when you import your data, for instance, for reporting purposes, is going through the system, or you regularly do it in a certain manner. Also there, the idea is to push this forward to a real-time scenario. So where every posting that you want to process is automatically checked and validated. And the last one is still important. It's crowdsourced feedback loop. That means inviting experts or talking to experts about certain things. Also, when things are posted automatically, there should be regular frequencies where still experts look over the data and do a qualification. So in data science, it's called labeling of the data, so that you know this was correct, that was wrong. And this is what you can do on the detection of data. Then idly you do the correction itself. It might be a manual process, but I doubt you have the resources, the time, and also find people who say, oh yes, that's what I do and want to do, and that's what I need to do the entire day. Normally people who are engaged or are able to do data quality assessments are normally those who are doing the processes itself. They are out in sales, in production, whatever that means. They should do other things. The lucky outcome of this is that data quality corrections can nowadays be done automatically. And there are a lot of concepts in place and methodologies and tools in place that can do this. You can have certain reference data that is just aligned with the data that has been posted or put into the system or wherever the data is coming from. For sure, a lot of rule-based stuff where you say, okay, when this is happening, then it will be automatically corrected into this. Then you have AI-assisted stewardship. Yeah, that means that there's a certain kind of machine learning, and that the data itself starts to talk to you. Hey, here's a posting. I do not know if this is really correct, and I can how should I process with this? And that's also a requirement when you go into the direction of automated data processing and all, that there should be checks in place that really can check how good the data is. And then you should have also versioning and automated rollbacks on data. That means when certain things are going wrong, that you can easily correct it on a batch level. Yeah, and that leads us now to what I would say is called the new data quality management. In the past, we looked at data quality management. That has to be done. Someone has to do, or someone has to do it. I believe, luckily, and through modern technology that is available, it can be really done in an automated manner to an extent that was only 2 years or 3 years before now, that was not thinkable due to these large language models. Yeah, because a lot of data quality issues are also not only related with numbers and codings, but also a lot of things are related to more language-oriented things. Yeah, and it also starts really with the labeling of product groups or whatever that might be. And these algorithms are now mixing up these large language models with statistical analysis, with machine learning and all this stuff. And this automated kind of data quality management, when you first look at it, you say, does it really work? But if you have once seen it, how good this is, how much information is really pulled out where you say, okay, this is all wrong. Yeah, it's really an amazing experience. Yeah, yeah. And if you do not do it in this automated way, yeah, I believe that's a thing. In 5 to 10 years, everyone will do it because there is no other chance than that. And as it works so good, it's really the tool to use. Yeah. And the key capabilities is a lot of things can be done already in real time. So that means it's not that you detect the error a month later or whatever that might be. It can be instant. So whatever your organization is producing, it's flowing through these processes and gets corrected. Yeah. And if it's not corrected, it's at least spool out and say, hey, here's something suspicious or wrong. Yeah. And another aspect is this validation and also filling of data. Yeah. For instance, fixing addresses. This is so good as of today. There are also services out who help to do this in a manner that even if the data is really a mess, yeah, it's very good to keep it up. Yeah. Then you also have data lineage and auditing, so that automatic checks, yeah, that are relevant for you, yeah, and especially auditing these requirements from outside are automatically checked by these data quality mechanisms, yeah, that you do not need to care. So that means that you also integrate a lot of sub-processes that are related to data management in general, can be brought into this concept of a, let's call it modern automated data quality management. Yeah, and the benefits are also quite easy. Yeah, you have a much faster time to insight on certain things, so you do not need to wait, yeah, for a certain point in time that things get checked or whatever that is. And you can also reduce dramatically the manual work. Yeah, again, once you see how good this is, and I would assume it's worth a try for every enterprise, because I believe there is not a single one out there that has not a data quality issue, yeah, of a certain level. Some more, some less, yeah. But it is mind-blowing of how much precision for your business steering you can get out of such mechanisms. Yeah, and beside the reduction of manual work, and that is for me the most important thing, the data becomes much more trustworthy. And even if errors cannot be fixed, yeah, because a certain domain knowledge is available, yeah, you at least get aware of all these issues, and that level or that level of trust that you need in your data to make fast decisions or even automated decisions, yeah, that is very much important. And that's also a reason why a lot of processes or enterprises hesitate to automate certain processes, because they say, is our data already in the shape that we can do this? Does this induce a certain level of error? Yeah, and enterprises hesitate to do this. Yeah, and from my perspective, it can be done. Yeah, and that is now I would say the final conclusion of my presentation. I think it's really time now to take a deeper look at data quality and how to approach this topic of data quality, but not in a manner to run through the organization and say, hey guys, we need to go for data quality, but in another way that you say, hey, there's now opportunities outside there that help us to tackle this long-lasting, everlasting issue of data quality. Yeah, because in our researches, we ask always companies, what are your biggest issues with data? Number one, yeah, since I think 10 years, yeah, is data quality. It's still the biggest issue enterprises have. Yeah? Many enterprises are talking about AI and all these things, but the data itself, the input for anything, yeah, what drives your business, that is still the biggest thing. Yeah, and the idea is to really take your decision makers in your organization, yeah, and start an initiative to formalize on how can we automate our data quality management in order to be able to have trustful, reliable data that can be used for further process automation, what you anyhow need to do. Yeah? And that can be then converted into an actionable plan. Yeah, so for me, high quality data is an asset. It's likely, as I said, when processes get automated, it's likely the most important one that you have. It will also fuel all your future processes, whatever they look like. It's also more and more relevant in areas that are in creative areas. Yeah, that in some years ago, everyone was said, okay, if you're going for campaign management, that's human work, human creativity. But as of today, it's all fueled and underlined with data, yeah, and validated with data, and therefore it's moving on in that direction. Yeah. So immediate actions. What can you do? Yeah, you can access your current data landscape and try to define the data points where you are really in trouble. Normally, this is known. Often it's master data related in other areas where you do not have processes in place that really ensure the data quality up front. It's a processing or whatever that might be. Yeah? And then I would take one of these topics, ideally related from your SAP systems, and then you can automate these processes through automated data quality mechanisms, address checks, deduplication, whatever that might be. And then you go for a dedicated monitoring of this so that you get an idea also how much is wrong, what could be fixed, what is still open, and then embrace also a certain level of stewardship. But this stewardship should be done ideally not to humans, but mainly supported by these automated processes. Yeah, and the technologies, for instance, if you would talk to cimt, because they have a lot of they're experts in this area, it's really amazing what what level of quality you can gain, what speed you can gain, and what momentum you can gain on fixing all these data quality issues. Yeah, okay, and so ordered. Yeah, the best thing, and it's a simple measure, but I would really recommend it. Just take every Friday of the month, yeah, and sit together with your colleagues, whatever area you are in, yeah, and try to think about, let's call it, it's the data quality Friday, so that you just talk about data quality issues, talk about where the issue is, what is the impact, and how it could be tackled, yeah, so that you can prevent this, yeah, and especially can take certain action. And the next month you should look at this, yeah. And by this I'm already through my presentation, and that is the final sentence. And if you just take from this presentation just this sentence, I would be very happy. Yeah. So I think that automation of data quality is essential and necessary. There is no other chance to improve quality, to measure quality, and therefore, as I said, finally to make your processes more robust, faster, or even automated them at all. Yeah. And you shift idly from this firefighting mode, oh, there's bad data, to really confidently scaling with AI and analytics, and help your digital transformation efforts with high quality data. Yeah? Don't let this paradox, which is upcoming, more and more data, more and more fuss, more and more confusion in data, don't let you stop on this. Yeah, you can turn this chaos really ahead into opportunities. Yeah, and by that, I'm through. I have to say thank you very much. I hope you could took a little momentum from this presentation. And now, Ruud, I would say we go on for questions. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Thomas, for this real clear explanation. I think for now we have one question. How much money should be invested in data quality as a percentage of the data budget? Do you have an opinion about that?
Yeah, the question is it part of the data budget, or is it part of an enterprise data management strategy or setup, including ELP up to document management? So is it really the entire thing, or is it just the data thing? From my perspective, if I would have a company and I said, okay, processing of data is important, analysis of data is important, but my assumption is that 10 to 20% you should just spend on data quality, because it's the only thing that ensures that whatever you do when you process data is valuable and usable. Yeah? I would even assume there are companies out there who spend much more on this because they really rely on precise data and they have fully automated processes. If your data is superior, I believe no larger company has this, you do not need to spend that much. But I would say 20% is a good, or 25% is a solid mark to invest into this. Yeah? I would honestly save some money elsewhere, yeah, and put a good portion in that direction. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Thomas. I hope this answer was sufficient. And the lessons learned I did over in the past, based related to this question, is that it must be data quality is a continued process, and it's not something you set up and you can now you can handle it. It is let's say a daily operation in your organization. But for that reason, it's quite important to build your ROE based on the issues and the value of good data quality in your organization. So what can we solve, and what is, let's say, the pain we suffer, and how can we solve that? And I think this is all the time the case over here. You can, you have to focus on the real use case. And if there's a real use case, then most of the time there's also a really big and good, how do you say that, outcome of all the efforts.
Yeah.
I think that is my lessons learned over here. Are there other questions from the attendees for now?
Okay. Maybe just a remark on what you just said. Yeah. I did at Henkel, I did a project, or we did a project where we tried to find out if cost accounting postings are correct or not. Yeah, and the idea was just to first look about is a posting correct or not. And once we did this project, we found out, oh, the system's not only to find out if it's correct or not, but also it's capable to predict and propose what is the right posting. And we also find out that, oh, the system's not only to do that, but it's also capable to do the entire posting at all. So, and we found out that our entire posting processes could be redefined by doing this. And we went from, I think, 190 people in Manila doing these things. We went to a highly automated solution with just 20 people. Yeah? So no one thought about this when we started into this. And the takeaway of this is, once you start with these data quality initiatives, you will find so many other use cases. What you can do also with the insight generated, that is also a source of certain value that can be generated by this. Okay.
Yeah, good. So I think a resume of, let's say, this webinar. I think thanks again, Thomas. Let's say the future of the data quality lies in the combination, I think, of traditional and modern technology of today, the AI and the LLMs. So I think that is a lesson learned from this webinar. This is probably also the right time to do it, because data is growing, complexity is growing. So that is talking about the data paradox. So you explain what was the data paradox. It's not only a way to start your data quality now, but I think at the same time to organize and start organizing your data governance. That is going hand in hand, let's say it like that. And again, it's I think this is said so many times, but data is the gold for the organization, the new gold for organizations. So there's a lot of value in your data. So if the data is not correct, then of course the value is less. But if you can optimize your data quality, the value will be increasing significantly. Also, it's not only the integration or the quality part, it is also integration, synchronization, and the MDM, and building your single source. And there are a lot of things coming together in this topic. And of course, what is Thomas was starting with that. We all know what is data quality. Nobody wants to do it. So let's focus on reducing all the manual effort around data quality and use data quality automation, like a tool as Data Quality Guardian, where we combine all this modern technology and also the new stuff is there, coming together with a dashboard where you can measure your data and where you can see how it is increasing over time and over all your data sets. So I think that was my contribution to this webinar. I'd like to thank you all the attendees. Thanks, Thomas, for your wonderful presentation, I think. And again, thank you very much. If there are any questions, please let us know. We will share the presentation afterwards, and that will be done by Julia. So if there are any questions, reach out to us, and thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.